Good evening, everybody. Just realised I was muted. Actually on time for once, which makes a change. At least when it comes to streaming. Not the only thing I am late for. So where we left off from yesterday, we essentially did carry on the story quite a bit more offline, just really to speed up the process, I guess, and get them through the this game's grind as such, just to scale up a bit. So as you can see, we've got some now a rebreather. I've actually got a UI on this at the moment, which is pretty cool, I guess. This is part of like the pack that I got because I went with the highest tier game package that you could buy, which came with some DLC kind of add-ons, and this visual that I've got now isn't that actual add-on, but that add-on is actually this one, which I'm not so fond of, if I'm honest, which is why I don't currently have that. You can see like that. This is actually from the film, the Dune film. This one. You can obviously change the colour as well, so it's like that. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this one, which is probably the one that every player has, if I'm honest, because it's nicest. Yeah, so we've got full rebreather now. Also, in relation to the helmet, I did manage to end up getting a reprocessor, I think is what you refer to it as, which allows me to now make ingots, and that allowed me to convert the copper spicer ingots into actual ingots rather than just like copper spice components. I'd also make copper as well, so I've managed to actually make this helmet now, and the base stats are way better than normal because the stats for these actually increase. And we just have a new subscriber. Thank you very much, Chugrunu, and welcome to the channel. Now, in relation to where we're at with regards to the actual further in the game, as I said, I did progress the game further beyond the stream yesterday and essentially completed a load more of this. So this is kind of like, I've realised, is our kind of journey through the compulsory part of the game that you need to do in order to kind of get further into the game. Once we probably get through this and cross the gap, we would have completed all of the startup journey parts of the game, and that will then allow us to enjoy the actual real part of the game, what I call the end game. The end game is like, yeah, where we can PvP and do all of the fun stuff and raid and do all, hopefully have some good fun. So yeah, while we're in the starter zone, this is all based in the starter zone apart from crossing the gap. I think this is what some of my friends refer to when they've said don't try and cross the gap on by foot. Yeah, we'll come to that when we get to that part, but we are now onto this one. And I did make a start on it, but obviously I haven't finished it yet. We've got to go and meet the guy that we met at the very start of this, and they are essentially kind of like our starter guide that we kind of lost after they got injured, and now we're finally going to reunite with them and do whatever it is that we're going to do with them, but I would assume finish off the starter storyline. Well, it'll show itself, just leave up, I guess. So let's see where we need to go. See him on the map. climb to high ground. Alright. So you just want me to do that. Okay, we'll do that. We actually are right next to high ground, so we could just technically just do here, which is what I'm going to try just for the sake of it. Because it is just a case setting off the probe, but I suppose you should get up to high ground, also why not set off properly. Like, why would you just stand behind a rock? They made these NPCs like dumb as hell. I was actually going to run this shit the other day and decided not to, but I'm glad I did it if I have to do it now as part of the main mission. So I've literally done it for no reason, just to have to do it again. I hate when you do that, jump ahead of things and then realise you have to redo them for a mission.
Mayday, Mayday. This is Ensign Meredith commanding Alcyon. Lieutenant Likers is down. The convoy is under sustained attack. They knew where we'd be. We've lost contact with the group leader, Kytheria.
My God! Look at them all! It's Horizon to Horizon jet fighters out there!
Relay that chatter! We have sustained several direct hits, and we're losing trim badly. We're going to try to set her down. Our emergency transponder is active. Godspeed, everyone.
Reveal yourself.
hear them but not see them. Out the page. I'm thinking, why can't I take it? Then I did realise, maybe I'm full. You got some good loot out of it. The one thing we didn't get is we didn't get all the stuff. Wreck off the Alpha. So we do need to get Mycophoria. So there's a bar there. I'm guessing we haven't got everything we need here yet. So we better stay here and see what else we can get. I wonder if we did get a band though, because before that thing was red. It's green now. We're that far. I've not seen anything that's... expecting a band to be in here, if I'm honest. I was also expecting someone to be in here that you have to kill, but no, it's not. I can't see any band in there. These won't be down here. That's probably one way we have to go. Get stuck. God. Open that. The only other place is out here. I'm gonna avoid out here because there's guards out here. Die go into that thing. Main reason I came out here was to get a band, hoping that I might get a band from somewhere, and still no band. Do need more though. Where are those bands? They're on there forever. spawn in again soon and I'll have to kill them again. All because I can't find my player. I wonder if that's the entrance area. Where's the bands? And all the time trying to get bands, but like, oh, you think it's you get them at the end, not to get in the things. You get them to get out. Now it's green, and we can go through that. Great. Sure there isn't anything left behind. Other than blood that we can't pick up. But we're good. So let's go. Mission done. Okay, there's no water. Oh, just about big enough to give me a shadow. Now we've got this, we can just stay around here, get the all we need. I'm assuming we've got all the ore we need now. That mission looks like it's finished, so as the sun sets, that's another day on Dunes. there's a wormy. No way though, so this is a chance to go across. If I started playing this game, even the smallest cap like that would have terrified me. But I suppose the more you play the game, the more you desensitise to the gaps. Back to our base. We need to go back to the base to make that stuff. We need a fabricator, which is up on our second floor, which is not far away, as we can see it. first thing I want to realise though is why I can't see the ghost anymore. I seem to have a skill and lost it. Wake upstairs. The fabricator's upstairs. I should not open all those doors at once. Fabricator. We need copper iron ingots, which you can make downstairs. Yeah, we need 12. We need it for that as well. Well, we need to make plenty of iron ingots, and they're downstairs. Why I made fish downstairs? I had to put something downstairs. I thought I'll put the one thing that I probably will need the least down here. Upstairs and make sure our energy center, power center, or whatever you want to freaking call this thing, the all-powered generator. Yeah, that's the thing. A generator. Make sure it's full. Gonna take a while. I think we got enough to start making some stuff, so we'll take what we've got so far. We'll let the rest carry on. While we go upstairs and start making some of this stuff. Finally have a decent gun. Didn't really need the hood, and the armor value of that hood is crap compared to the one I've actually got. So I'll have to make it because it's part of the mission, but other than that, I wouldn't make it. It's not really pointless. So we need to go get some more because we've only got enough to do that. We need to make the body. Let's go get some more iron ingots, which should hopefully be ready. Actually, just extremely unlucky one. I thought it just shut us as I was walking towards it. should complete the mission. Seems like a waste though. Well, all of it, because I can wear some parts of
I've
it.
crossed the Vermilius Gap, Off-worlder, and I still haven't shaken my unwanted followers. I'm afraid I must delay our reunion until... well, I fear drastic measures might be required. But fear not, Off-worlder. You've come this far alone. I'm impressed. You're a long way from that mewling mauler I dragged from the wreckage of the Proteus. Listen, you'll need a vehicle to cross the sands to the Paranorth and reach the gap. But vehicles require components that aren't created here on Arrakis. Arrakis has a long history, Off-worlder. More than you might imagine. Some things, like the Imperial testing stations, contain echoes of the past. But more importantly, they contain stockpiles of components you'll need. Just be careful. Those old ruins are a beacon for all kinds of scum.
Well, yes, crossing the gap is the one thing that I knew would need a vehicle for, because that's crossing the big desert. The big desert's full of sandworms. Okay, we can swap out some of this armour. It's any better than what we've already got, which I don't think actually is. Yeah, so that's our helmet, which is 42, and this is 24. Maybe half. 36. You sure that is better? I'm not going to wear it though. I'm not going to wear it because it's not actually a still suit, and this still suit's actually more valuable than the armour that I'll produce. It uses the heat protection. It gives you blade mitigation and dash costs down. And that's a blade thing. Blade mitigation plus 12%. I wonder whether that was what our blade person had earlier when we were trying to kill them, and we seemed to be stabbing them like 1,000,000 times before they finally succumbed. That's got a lot of blade protection. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to keep with what I've got. We'll just store it somewhere. I've got some pieces upstairs. Blueprint as well. The damage per hit for this one is 7.2. Damage for this one doesn't say, but it's purple gear, and purple gear is better than green gear, so it'll be better. One thing we can do as well is make some blood. Totally forgot about the blood. should get more of these on the go. Means we'll have plenty of water back in the base. I think we could build probably a third one, but well, 2 will do for now. Once we fill this, these fill up, and then we backfill it with blood as well, so that when we empty it, it automatically starts filling with blood. And then we'll build a third one once we've done that. And then we'll maybe build more as we need them. Do we not need a carrying? Need 12. Actually, no, we need. What I need is faster steel microfiber. Got copper ingots.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
If I've got any of that stuff downstairs.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Faster steel microfiber, which I think these. I've got 9. Oh, actually, that's alright. 5 of those. My CPU does what we need. I've got 6. What's that? 42. I'll lose those ones. Dust storm outside. I don't know why it's like so bad. components in that box aren't enough, but I want to see what it looks like when you go to make it. We need to research it, don't we? Learning those things. Means when we go to this, we should see it on things about to make. That's the one thing we made. We're short of that. Got enough of that. Not enough of that. And enough of that. I barely have any needed now. Yay. Blade per damage. So that's 10.9. Compare that to what we had or have at the moment, because I knifed this. So 5.5, so it's double the DPS. That's pretty decent. Yeah. If it gives you the wrong calculations or whatever, I don't know. Doesn't really make much sense that. Got a decent gun now though. Ammo does it require though? Oh, it still uses our things. Pretty cool. Oh, nice. And it's semi-automatic. Put this stuff in here, so I'm not going to use it, but at the same time I think you can recycle stuff later on, so we can if we keep this stuff then we can just recycle later and get the stuff back from it. E2 rifle. What we made. Actually, I suppose I could put all weapons in one. Make more sense, wouldn't it? But armor in this one. Will that suffice? Nice. press this. Broken. And then in the last box we'll just put materials. What is it more? Armor. Oh, super organised. Know that I am, but not at the moment. Less organised. Plenty of bushes though. As I like. Plenty of med. Or we can make some more blood bags. You can go over the top from blood bags though. Downstairs. I mean, just armor. It's like you have to make it for a mission, but apart from that, it's like making it for a waste. Which is why I'm trying to hold on to it so I can recycle it later. Remind me not to get any more fuel cells, even though I religiously picked them up. Because obviously it's great for you doing generator, but now I literally do have so much that I'm storing it in tons of places around this build base. So they prove we'll keep that stuff on us. Keep that. Keep that. Always useful to have a little bit of money around with us. We'll leave that in here. That's valuable. We don't want it, if we die, we don't want to lose that somewhere. Okay. My thinking is I'm going to go back to the trading area, because if we go back to the trading area, there's a person there that can buy you places. I'm thinking maybe I can fly across the desert without having to build a vehicle. I can also drop off that mission while we're there. One disadvantage of being on this side. love my gaming sessions. I said I finished at 10 and still carried on. Pretty typical for me. I think we don't know stuff here. Deliver micro sandwich. I've got loads of that back of the bloody plate, which I dropped off. EFM generators. Not do those missions right now, but we'll do them at some point.
Back again, like the sour tang of rancid wine. Not much to tell. This is scavenger country, the lowest of the low. Honestly, I think there are some city mauler that live better. I don't know. Scavenge? Is that a word? I think they mostly hide from the key rob.
With a key.
Bandit scum. Thieves who prey on their own kind. I suppose it's easier to rob and kill your fellow scrap digger than put in a hard day's work.
Well, the key rob.
Just up country from here. The Vermilius Gap is Kirab territory. You'll know you've gone too far when the sand turns blood red.
Can you teach me anything else?
I can teach you no more.
Latest mission. Reach a settlement. Not worked out where that is. What settlement? Apart from the thing we're in right now. Which isn't a settlement. The trade post I found. It shows on the map. Pretty sure I've checked this already. I couldn't find it. Big massive random rock in the middle.
The skills to use though.
This is the person over here. Actually, no, that side. It's over this side. In this corner here. Now she can take his places. So I'm thinking of getting her to take us to somewhere that we
Can I fly you somewhere today? Music to my ears. Where do you want to go?
Where do we need to go to? Just check. Beach base settlement. That's not the one we want. We need to get changed. Travel to the Imperial testing station 2. Venomous gaps. Let's see if she's.
Can I fly you somewhere today? Music. Atreides and their war levies. Look, I can get you there, but I want a little extra for the. All right, suit yourself. Music to my ears. Where do you want to go?
Well, I don't think she's going to be able to take us aboard. So we're going to need to go and get a vehicle. Need a vehicle. Don't think I can make it. actually go to one of those places, then.
Can I fly you somewhere today? Music to my ears. Where do you want to go? Well, the Harkonnens love their docking fees, so that's going to cost a little extra. Well, all right. Sopter's on the roof. Let's get out of here.
I wonder where this goes.
Something approaches me. In order to determine if it is an aid or an impediment to my plans, I must dissect it. Mentally, of course. You remain of little interest. For the moment.
Sorry, that's all I need to speak to you later. Are we?
No credentials? Then beat it! I don't have time to waste on you.
So you can't come here and do anything if you don't have credentials. How do you get credentials? Probably completing what we haven't completed yet. Probably aren't supposed to come here quite yet. Usually you get to explore somewhere you haven't been yet. And you can't do anything. Hello trader, will you speak to me?
You are not recognized by the Landsrat. Come back if your fortune changes.
Got a feeling we shouldn't be here. Don't come here yet.
It would seem the Landsrat's favor does not extend to you.
It seems the benevolence of the
Yeah, whatever. You speak to me?
Welcome, stranger. If you come seeking treatment, I have all manner of locally sourced natural remedies for whatever ails you. Do not underestimate the potency of ground Zithtrakian antlion eggs. An amount no greater than the head of a pin can instigate the regeneration of necrotized tissue at the cellular level. On more primitive worlds, they believe it is magic. What is there to tell? I am a simple herbalist, plying my trade in a troubled world. Well, whoever told you that is mistaken. While I do offer healing services, they are of a simple naturopathic variety.
Well, we had a bit of a conversation.
The sacrifices made to secure our way of life.
You won't talk to me.
Greetings, stranger. What can I do for you? From our homeworld of Drem, House Pinette produces the finest assassins deployed throughout the Imperium. for a price. One without the other is unbalanced and slovenly. An ill-prepared meal without manners or class. We cleave to the laws of Kanli. We perfected the precepts of a war of assassins. Following these rules costs far less lives than open war. Our precise discipline in the art of death actually saves lives across the Imperium. The math does not lie. That is why we've come to Arrakis. Why we lobbied among the Landsraad for the conflict between Duke and Baron to be a war of assassins.
Firm as the bedrock of stability.
And they're going to give us what? The rest of it. Imperial consulate. A throne. Will you give me an ID?
Welcome, fellow citizen. How is it that the Imperial Tax Administratum can assist you today? You're back. There isn't much to tell. One provincial backwater is much the same as the next, although I'll admit some are less desolate than others. While Harco has the makings of something more, I'm afraid that potential will never be realized under the current administration. While I'm certain that Count Raban has the village's best interests at heart, I'm afraid he is all consumed with the Neo-Carthag construction project. And unfortunately, Neo-Carthag is both over time and over budget, which leaves the Count with little bandwidth for village matters. And Harco suffers as a result. Why Count Raban doesn't simply restore the village's previous and rightful lord to the position is beyond me.
Who is the proper lord of Harco village?
It's Count Raban's own cousin, Grigori Harkonnen. A most agreeable and competent village headman, if there ever was. Grigori was the custodian of Harco long before the Beast and his retinue arrived, and will be so again when Neo-Carthag is finally complete.
When will that be?
Not even the Baron himself can predict that. No, the project has been plagued in every way possible. From sabotage to sandstorm damage to the theft of key construction materials, which are then offered back to Count Raban at an exorbitant markup. Thus far, Neo-Carthag has been an unmitigated disaster. Believe me, I've seen the books. I am the duly appointed agent of the Imperial Tax Administratum. A small but critical cog in the mighty economic engine that drives our glorious Imperium ever forward. An engine, I may add, that requires a nearly incalculable and inexhaustible source of fuel to continue forward. And what do you think that fuel is? Of course, it's money. Indeed, your salary contributions, whether they be from property tithes, regional taxes, or the like, keep our great engine lurching ever forward. And it is my sacred duty to collect them. They are remitted to the Imperial Treasury to be dispersed as our great Padishah Emperor and his Mentat auditors see fit. I'm sure there's a war somewhere that needs paying for.
War I didn't bring
I'm
my dad's
afraid
with me.
that's a matter you would have to take up with the Imperial Bailiff Authority. In most cases, you would simply be given additional time to pay, at the end of which you would pay, or be remanded to a local debtor's prison until your outstanding balance was settled. Unfortunately, that second outcome mostly equates to the death penalty, or so I'm told. Apparently, the pox is rife within the dungeons, and one is not expected to survive very long. So pay those taxes.
Balance point.
Welcome, stranger. What business have you with House Alexan?
Tell me more about House Alexan.
If you haven't heard of House Alexan, you will soon. Our influence grows rapidly into hearts, minds, and most of all, stomachs. We're traditional farmers and producers. We feed half the Imperium at any given time and make sure that nobody from Mala to Noble goes hungry. Oh, but you're... Alas, I've said too much on this topic. Please, let's speak of other things. I'm not really the person to ask. You need to have signed a contract of allegiance to a major house to even participate, as I understand it. The name is Graham Candace, diplomatic envoy for House Alexan. I think that's my title anyway. It's a bit complicated.
Okay, how?
Truth be told, I'm just a glorified farmer. More at ease with gourd seeds than politics. But they needed to send someone, and, well, here I am.
What's a farmer doing in Hackney Village?
Why am I here, you ask? Well, that's an easy one. One only has to gaze at the dull glow across the horizon for a quick answer. The Neo-Carthag project is our single largest client on Arrakis. The Mala contingent alone consumes more food than 2 cities the size of Arrakeen.
And do you personally see that?
Among other duties, such as meeting with people like you.
Oh, but Ding ding. I see better than your suit. Looks like their suit. Okay, I think I've had enough.
Welcome. Would you like to deposit or withdraw Solaris?
Bank. Anything priced up there. And I don't have enough money to buy any of this stuff. Oh, we don't have quite enough money. Oh, that would be so nice. Decent armor. Oh, why did I bring more money? Because I didn't actually think I'd come in with somewhere decent, if I'm honest. What can we sell? What we get? 3,000 Solari there. Insufficient banked Solaris. Alright, so we need to bank. Oh, we need to go and bank some Solaris.
Welcome. Would you like to deposit or withdraw? How much Solaris would you like to deposit?
I can get our suit. Bargain. What does the suit go? I just thought it went straight here infantry, but it doesn't appear to be there. Same. That's in that back. Go figure. It's 43. Awesome. Just customize it so it doesn't look stupid. That'll help us in fights. Better armor. Protection. There's a good reason for coming in. Okay. So before we do go, let's just see if there's anything else we can get. That might be useful. Radiation suit. They don't go cheap. 9,000. Probably really expensive because hardly anyone's selling them. But like one thing I would say is always go to player traders because you can always get one person's junk is the next person's piece of gold, and it's like for the stuff I've just bought now, like for that person who sold up probably thought that was worthless to them, but they can get some money for it. And for me, it's like, well, that's a boost up. So, family. Vehicle, but that at those prices, I don't even know if that is gold. How are you in? Oh, that's down. One man counter. You can wish. get over and get this on my card. Where home is. Well, how to get to there. Let's find someone that can get us home with zero money.
Challenge to our sovereignty. Accept our rule or face the consequences.
Taxi service. That's where we want to go.
Empire. Together we shall conquer all adversaries.
Hopefully it's a free taxi service because we don't exactly have much money now.
Join in communal gatherings to celebrate the glory of House Harkonnen. Unity strengthens our resolve and fortifies our allegiance.
You look a little lost, friend. You got somewhere you need to be. I can fly you there for a price. Music to my ears. Where do you want to go? Atreides and their war levies. Look, I can get you there, but I want a little extra for the trip. All right, suit yourself. Music to my ears. The basin is a pretty big place. Could you narrow it down a little? Mir's place? Yeah, I know it. Scavenger territory. It's gonna cost you a few Solari. Thopter's always warmed up. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad that it cost me nothing because I was always going to be stuck here. It's like you sound from outside because that's why the doors are shut. Wait time. So it's another day, another dollar, and we are coming towards the end of the stream now because I do want to go to the gym tonight. So cool. That's good. Yeah, I can sprint. Cross. Yeah, so we'll cut it there once we get back to the base. I'll end the stream. But thank you very much for joining us. If you did enjoy the stream, do think of following us either on Twitch or subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to be notified the next time we do live stream. Stream tomorrow again at 7 o'clock. So if you want to join us then, you can do. Or again on Friday, which will be at the later time like today at 8 o'clock. This week we are in Dune, which is what we're playing right this second. There will be a battle as well in Eve. Well, it's not a battle. There's going to be at least a memorial occasions, which I will be live streaming. Still haven't got a date on when that's going to be yet because we haven't been advised. But as soon as I do, I will put that in the calendar so that you can come and join if you want to see that event, which is a special event for a very special friend who a while back passed away, and we put a memorial up for them, which was in the form of a keep star. So if you play EVE Online, you'll realise that's the biggest owned player station or object that you can put into space. We'll be blowing one up that was named after this person, and yeah, it'll be a fun, sad time because we can't just take it down because our enemies will actually try and probably disrupt that and try and destroy it anyway. So we're going to Valhalla it and destroy it ourselves instead. So that's it for tonight. Thanks very much, as I said, and until tomorrow, peace out.